Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing my tips around 27 of the 2023 NRL season. Last week I got 7 out of 8 correct. Since it is the final round of the regular season, I thought I'd just do something a bit more fun on the channel and I'd announce all the teams as they're called on social media pages by other teams. So in regards to that, sledging names, nicknames that other teams give other clubs. It's just a bit of fun, but I thought I'd just do that for this round. So let's start off with the first match, which is kicking off on Thursday night. And the first match to kick us off on the Thursday is between the Brown Chokes and the Scum. This one's being played at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. It sees the Broncos in first place at the moment and the Scum are in fourth place. So the last time that Brisbane defeated Melbourne in a competitive game in the NRL was back in 2016. Since then, Melbourne have won 13 straight matches. And since the 2006 NRL Grand Final, when Brisbane defeated Melbourne, Brisbane's only defeated Melbourne 3 times, which is just absolutely unbelievable, crazy. I haven't really seen too many teams in the NRL have such a monopoly over another team like Melbourne has over Brisbane. For this match, there's a little bit riding on it because Brisbane have to win to secure the minor premiership, and with Melbourne, if New Zealand slip up, they can get in the third place. For this match, I'm going to go for Melbourne to win. Now I know Brisbane's top of the table, playing really well, but they've just got this powerful hoodoo over Brisbane which I just can't explain. So I will go for Melbourne to win by 1 to 12 points. I wouldn't be surprised if Brisbane actually get a win this time, but I don't know, there's just something about Melbourne and Brisbane, and Melbourne always seem to win, so I'm going to go for Melbourne to win by 1 to 12 on the Thursday. And the first match on the Friday sees Manly against the Wooden Spooners West Tigers. This one's being played at Brookfield Oval. It sees Manly in 12th place at the moment, and West Tigers, well, they're the Wooden Spooners for 2023. Now with West Tigers, they were confirmed as the Wooden Spooners after they failed to beat Eastern Suburbs over the weekend. They had a slight chance to avoid the Wooden Spoon. They had to win their last 2 matches against East and then against Manly, but they lost. So technically they can still avoid the Wooden Spoon. They just have to hope that Newcastle beat St George by 55 points to 0, and they managed to beat Manly by 13 plus or something like that. But really, when you look at it, they're definitely going to be the Wooden Spooners for 2023. And with Manly, they had a very high scoring win over Canterbury, like I thought they would. For this match, I'm going to go for Manly to win by 1 to 12 points. I think Manly will beat West Tigers, and it'll officially confirm, without a shadow of a doubt, West Tigers will be the Wooden Spooners for 2023. And the main match on the Friday, it's the biggest rivalry in Australian Rugby League. It's the eldest rivalry, and it's also the most fierce. It's the Grubbertoes against the Salary Sombrero Rauters. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. It sees Souths, that's with 2 Fs and an S, in 8th place at the moment against the Rauters in 10th place. These two sides have met 230 times. East have won 105, Souths have won 120, and there's been 5 draws. Now, not only is this the biggest rivalry in Australian Rugby League, there's also a top 8 position on the line. Both sides are on 30 points. Whoever loses this match will probably miss out on the top 8, so there's so much on the line when it comes to this game. Now, I know for this match that Souths are missing some players. Eastern Suburbs are missing some players, especially with Souths, they're missing Latrell Mitchell. But for this game, I'm going to go for Souths to win by 1 to 12 points. Now, I know some people out there will be tipping Sydney Roosters, but in the past, the media has attacked Souths, especially a couple of years ago. They said the South Sydney team's awful, they can't win, they can't do anything, and they ended up putting 50 points on Sydney Roosters in that game. I think they won 60 points to 6. So with the media attacking South Sydney the way they have over the last couple of weeks, I'm going to go for Souths to win. I'm going to go for them to win 1 to 12, and I think South Sydney will get that finals place for week 1. And the first match on the Saturday is between Redcliffe, or should I say Fins Down, against the New Zealand Warriors. That's with an O instead of an A, so the Warriors. And this one's being played at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. This one sees Fins Down in 14th place against the Warriors I should say, in 3rd place. With Redcliffe, their season's over, but with the New Zealand side, there's a bit riding on this game, because if they lose this match, potentially they could finish in 4th place, depending on what happens with the Brisbane and Melbourne match. But I think that they'll be okay in this game. I think that New Zealand will win by 1 to 12 points, and they'll get that 3rd place in the NRL going into the finals, and they'll either play Brisbane or Penrith. And the second match on the Saturday is between Penrith, with 2 Fs, against the North Queensland Cowgirls. This one's being played at Blue Balls Stadium, and it sees Penrith in 2nd place at the moment, and the Cocksucking Cowboys in 9th. This is another huge game in terms of the finals race, because last week everyone thought that Penrith were going to beat Parramatta quite convincingly, but they didn't. They lost, and now it sees Brisbane in top place. And if Penrith want to get that minor premiership, they have to hope that Brisbane slip up and they beat North Queensland to get that top place and claim the minor premiership. And with North Queensland, they just have to win, because they're going to be following on from the result from South Sydney and Eastern Suburbs, and that's going to give them more of a clearer picture of what's going to happen in the finals race. But for them, ideally, it's a must-win game for them in Penrith. Now, with Penrith, if they would have beaten Parramatta, I think for this game they might have rested a lot more players, because they would have been assured of the minor premiership. But now it's a real possibility that they might finish second, even with the result of the Brisbane and Melbourne game. So I imagine that Ivan Cleary will play a pretty much full-strength team. Maybe 1 or 2 players might be rested. With North Queensland, they're just going to have to go for it, and they're just going to have to come out all guns blazing and just hope that they can get the win over Penrith, because if they lose, then their season's over. So I'm going to go for Penrith to win by 1 to 12 points. I don't see North Queensland winning this game, but I think this will be it'll be a cracking contest there on the Saturday in Penrith. And the third and final match on Super Saturday sees the Drag Queens up against Spoon Castle. This one's being played at Cogra, and it sees the St Marge side in 16th place and Spoon Castle in 5th. With West Tigers losing last week against Eastern Suburbs, St George have avoided the wooden spoon once again. They haven't got the wooden spoon since 1938. The only way they're going to get the wooden spoon is if they lose 55-0 against Newcastle, which I don't see happening. With Newcastle, they are on a roll at the moment. They've won their last 8 matches in a row in the NRL. With this game, I think it's going to be more of the same from Newcastle. I think Newcastle will win this game by 1 to 12 points. I think that St George will put up a bit of a fight, but their season's done and dusted. They know that they can't get the wooden spoon unless they lose 55-0 and they don't score any points whatsoever. But yeah, I'll go Newcastle to win by 1 to 12 points, and Newcastle have a home final in 2023, so they'll be looking forward to that. And the first match on the Sunday is between the Gold Coast Twats and the Canterbury-Bankstown Bullflogs. This one's being played at Seymour Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. It sees the Gold Coast Twats in 13th place at the moment, and the Canterbury-Bankstown Bull Gronks in 15th place. Now, this is what some people would describe as a real poo slinger of a game, and it sees 2 sides which, I mean, they just can't defend. It's just the whole season with these 2 sides, there's been really high scores, and they've been on the wrong end of them scores. For this game, I think just both teams will just be happy to see the season over, and they can focus on 2024. For this game, I'm going to go for the Gold Coast to win 1 to 12. I wouldn't be surprised if this match finishes 40 points to 30 the way the things are going. And the final match to close out the regular season of the NRL is between Drug Nulla and the Canberra Faders. This one's being played at Shark Park, and it sees the Cronulla-Sutherland Sharps in 6th place at the moment and Canberra in 7th place. With this fixture, Canberra have this uncanny record against Cronulla. They've won their last 10 matches against them in the NRL, and the last time that Cronulla beat Canberra was in 2018. There's also a lot riding on this game for Canberra, because if they lose against Cronulla, with their for and against, which is shocking, if South Sydney win or North Queensland win their games, then Canberra is out of the top 8, which is a bit unthinkable, because even though Canberra have not been the best team all year, they've been in the top 8 for the most part of it. And with Cronulla, they're guaranteed a finals place at the very least. We don't know whether they're going to have a home final or whether they're going to finish in a position where they have to play away from home in week 1, but they're guaranteed a finals place nonetheless. This game, I'm going to go for Cronulla to win. If it was in Canberra, I would have gone for Canberra, but I think just at Shark Park there, Cronulla will win by 1 of 12 points in a very tight game. And of course, Parramatta, or should I say the cream deals, Parramatta doesn't matter, or Parathetic, they've got the bye this week, so unfortunately for them, they finished 2 points outside the top 8, and there's nothing they can do about it. So there are my tips for round 27 of the 2023 NRL season. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below and let me know who you're tipping. Thanks to everyone that made my tipping video one of the most watched tipping videos on YouTube last week. Thank you very much. Anyways, this has been Rugby League History. I'll catch us all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye for now.